As you know, I wrote a whole book about the thumb, and actually the book doesn't even cover half of it. There's more chapters on the thumb, on my thumb.
So it's
in the new
only
book.
half thumbs?
Hmm?
It's only half thumbs instead of all thumbs?
That's right. That's right, we need to retitle the book. Half of the thumbs. So why, and today, even today, new stuff is coming to light, like what we did with the thumb this morning. That was a new insight for me, which is again why I call these things the Piano Institute rather than masterclass, because I'm learning all the time. And we're basically searching for better and better ways to express this stuff so that it's like less confusing and more usable, practical. So the thumb, monkeys use their thumbs only like this to grab things, and they can't oppose the thumb to the hand. So the movement of opposition is very, very different, and that's the main reason the thumb has this big muscle, the hypothenar. If it just needed to adduct and abduct, then it could get by with the interosseous muscles like the other fingers do for abduction and adduction. However, and this is a straight across movement, so if I go underneath like that, straight across, flexion and extension of the thumb, if I flex it straight across, it immediately causes tension. And it does not really reflect the sophisticated structure of the hand. When I oppose, it's a completely different movement. Now watch very closely. The movement of opposition of the thumb, it goes in a big, huge arc. So I can best show you that arc from this angle, right? So of course, and look how powerful and expansive and expressive that movement is compared to straight flexion and extension, or actually no, this is adduction and abduction. Flexion and extension would be this. It's even worse in terms of the tension causing department. So how can opposition be relevant to piano technique when the keyboard is flat? If the fingers are going like that and I oppose my thumb to my fingers, the thumb is not pressing any keys down. However, let's say my hand is like that and I try to oppose my thumb to my fingers. Look what happens. This wonderful arch structure of the hand immediately comes up. So we already see one fundamental function of the hand, of the thumb, which is to help the hand rise up into its arch structure. So when the thumb is pushing the hand away from it, and you can do this on your knee, you just push the thumb down into the knee so that the space between the hand, I can do this like this with my arm, but I don't feel that my thumb is making any effort. I haven't discovered the potency of the thumb. If I do the same movement, only pressing the thumb away from my hand and then blocking the thumb with my knee, and oh my God, and then I can press down to make it, and the muscles in here are really, really working. Oh my God. Then I've started to access the innate power of my thumb. I can increase it by doing a thumb push-up and letting my fingers go as far away as I can. I can do a modified thumb push-up, the rearing horse, where the thumb becomes the rear legs of a horse, and these fingers here are the front legs of the horse, and they're coming down against resistance, and it's very springy here, and the greater the amount of effort you can get the thumb to make, the more good you're doing the thumb. So this is really like a kind of an isometric calisthenics for the thumb. And now when the thumb is doing that, then this hypothenar, you see how pumped it is and how much it's working. That's really great. And that's totally different from what the thumb normally does. Let me try and checklist all the stuff the thumb normally does, which to my mind is completely dysfunctional. One, many pianists will try to make the thumb like the finger, because, well, it's 5 fingers that play the piano, so let's make the thumb like the fingers. So the fingers curl like this, well, let's curl the thumb like that, and they pull the metacarpal bone back here to the point where the thumb metacarpal is just as immobile as the hand's metacarpals. The other 4 finger metacarpals are encased in the hand. They actually can move quite a bit. Look at that. Look at how much foldability there is in the metacarpals. But generally, we don't think of them as that movable compared to the fingers. And it's true that I cannot flex the four-bone finger without the other three metacarpals coming along for the ride. But to reduce the thumb metacarpal to similar mobility is just to completely ignore the wonderful potency of the thumb and to disempower your thumb. Plus, it's tense when it's curled like that. Plus, it's being lifted up. Now, why would it be lifted up? Well, the hand's arch tends to be a little bit weak. It tends to empty out like that because we're relaxing and we don't realize that we should not relax so much. Like who walks down the street relaxed in their hip joints. So we're relaxing in the arch and the thumb says, oh, I'm going to help that arch. And now I just said the thumb helps the hand arch tremendously by individuating, by beginning a movement of opposition, by expressing the fundamental structural difference of thumb to hand. But here, again, the thumb is saying, okay, I'm going to lift you guys up. And the more the thumb lifts up to help the arch lift, the less the arch tries to fix itself by acting, and the more it believes, oh, I don't have to do any act. My hip joint doesn't have to activate here because my thumb is going to do it for me. And finally, it's just chronically lifted, and this is chronically sunk. And now, if I want to play the thumb, then I have to fall further into the key because my thumb doesn't know how to go down and separate out. So this happens. This happens especially when I have a leap from one of the fingers to the thumb node. If the thumb is up here, then, well, if I'm standing up in my arch, I can't get to that note. So how do I get to it? Oh, I just drop the arch and make it totally dysfunctional, and then now I can play my thumb note. Of course, everything is totally cramped, but I'll just do a relaxation move to take care of that. And now you see how much better off I am. It's just like going from bad to worse. So in all this, the thumb trying to be like a finger, if it's curved, then it can't bear any weight. Of course, if it's straightened out, it can bear weight. If it separates out from the thumb, see, these guys are pianistically codependent. They're messing with each other, trying to help each other, and only making matters work. They need to individuate. Each part of the hand needs to come into its true nature. And as we said today, a very important distinction. I've been doing this lecture for years now. I never made it. That I keep saying the thumb has to be under the hand, and then people are doing this. Well, that's not what I meant, sorry. So if you look at it from this point of view, you see the thumb is not under the hand at all. It's beside the hand. You see it's over here and the hand's over there, beside the hand. But if you look at it from this point of view, the thumb is very clearly under the hand, because it's on a lower level. And so it's like a car ferry where there's a passenger deck and the fingers are the passengers, and the cars are down on the car deck. The thumb is the car deck. So that's what I mean when I say the thumb is under the hand. I don't mean the thumb is adducted under the hand or flexed under the hand. I mean it's beginning to go through that arc which eventually makes it a pose, and because it's going down through that arc, it's under the hand in terms of the level.